Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas here with Jim Chaney from the Professional Football Hall of Fame Marathon and Kevin Miller from Habitat for Humanity. Jim, I'm curious how you chose Habitat. Of all the great organizations to partner with, how did they get to be the lucky ones?
You bet, yeah. So, putting on a marathon, I certainly couldn't do it all by myself. I am a little bit like an architect. I can draw it on a piece of paper, but we need lots of people to put their hands against it to make it come to life. So we certainly have volunteer needs along the course, as well as sponsorship needs and partnership needs. And so, quite frankly, I don't remember exactly how we came together. It might have just been a simple meeting of, here's who we are, let's learn about each other.
It was that, yeah.
Yeah, and what happened pretty quickly was a very common thread of community. And, our marathon, unlike a 5K that sort of comes in on a weekend and goes away, is a year-long process. It requires neighbors to say, yes, we can run down your street. It requires human beings to stand along the course and help us, whether it's passing out water, working with our team relay in what we call an exchange zone. So we just started to sort of whiteboard some ideas of how we can work together. And where we landed was, I think it really started with neighborhood beautification was one of the things that we want to do. So as people are coming in, what can we do to make our community look good? And we started this conversation about, well, maybe we can shine up the community, but it's more important that we build long-lasting structures and relationships. So at the end of the day, we have sort of this multi-year vision. Year one is going to be Habitat for Humanity is going to be handling all of our exchange zones. So I mentioned the 5-person relay.
Yes.
So as Jim has started the race and he's getting ready to hand off to Sandy, he's going to come into the exchange zone and see a Habitat for Humanity branded area. So one, I have an awareness of, here's a cool partnership. And it's a consistent partnership because as Sandy is handing to Jeffrey, here we go again, Habitat for Humanity. Habitat has a great volunteer base that we are able to, draw from, thankfully, that will help facilitate all of the inner workings of a exchange zone. So there's a very immediate need that was filled for us in exchange for, obviously, some cross-promotion and awareness. Now, more importantly, we would like to build our community. And so, starting with the 2017 race, we have some pretty solid goals with regard to fundraising, with regard to really putting our stamp on the community, be it a house or improvement or whatever that is. So what folks are going to see at our race this year is just a taste of what is going to come. So you'll see a lot of marathons and I hate to say it this way, but I will, you'll see a lot of blind partnerships, like where there's a donation. It's like, okay, great, I'm running a marathon. I'll throw $25 towards something, XYZ charity.
Yes.
And I never really see the impact that has made. We feel that Habitat, it's very tangible. You get to see it in the community. So next year, when we open registration, we're not so much going to be asking people for $5 or $10 to donate. We're going to ask them to purchase a bag of nails or some lumber.
Cool.
So it's very tangible. It's like, oh yes, I wouldn't mind donating a little extra. That will eventually go into a marathon house or however we decide to put this together. So,
and I love what Jim has said about, we're not about short-term solutions for some of the, substandard housing issues that still remain in Canton and in East Central Ohio on a larger scale. What we're talking about is a very good solution toward a long-term solution for some families in this local community who are hardworking yet still find very much difficulty in making the ends meet for their family. So we're thrilled about this partnership. The awareness raising is a great thing. The ability to talk about raising funds in the future is a big thing. And all of it put together, I think, just makes the whole community shine. It's a good thing for everybody involved, including the family who will someday live in the house that's built by the marathon.
Oh, my goodness. Yes. Isn't that exciting?
Yeah.
Kevin, what is your role with all of this?
Sure. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications for East Central Ohio. So now Habitat, it used to be Habitat of Greater Canton, then it was Habitat for Humanity of Greater Stark and Carroll counties. Now we cover Stark, Carroll, Tuscarawas, Harrison, and Jefferson counties. So it's a growing ministry. It's an opportunity for a ton. He mentioned volunteers, Jim did. We have about 5,000 volunteers pass through our doors every year. And it's a unique thing that we're able to help with the marathon in this way by just calling on the people who are doing what they do with Habitat every single day anyway.
It also calls the question that because you represent so much of the wide greater area, this is not just a Canton marathon, is it? This really is a Hall of Fame, and that is for everybody.
Exactly, and it's important. Like I said earlier, we get runners from all over the place, and we were just looking for a good partner that made a lot of sense long term.
You said something a while back, I think in our first segment, that I jotted down. Customer service. You really are treating the runners like customers and want to make this a very good experience for them. And you've got a lot more customers with different age groups and different abilities of how they're going to be running. Tell us how you're going to do that and make this a great experience for each.
You bet. So there's some very tangible things that you can do for runners. Our industry is just as competitive as other small businesses, and I guess I view us as a small business. So we're competing with local marathons, other national marathons, and so the kinds of things that we can do to really enhance the experience for the runner or our guests as they come in is important. So we work closely with Visit Canton. So as the folks are coming in, we have a welcome for them that are staying at the hotels. One very simple thing that we do, whenever you run a race, you're giving a race bib. It goes on the front of your T-shirt. It's a number, and they use the number to, indicate who you are in the computer system and for scoring. We don't use numbers. We use your name. So when you are running through the streets of Canton and Perry Township and the surrounding area here, you'll see a lot of people with their bib. It will say things like "Run for Mom," Jimbo, Go Browns, whatever it is. So we do allow our participants to put something on their bib very large that is really, personalized for them. We do race weekend starts on Friday, and we have a Welcome to Canton reception on Friday night. We're building an athletes village that people can come down and visit different race vendors.
This will take place where?
So this year it's going to be at Don Scott Field. So eventually it will all be at the Hall of Fame Village.
Yes.
But until that's done, we're just a block away to the south at Don Scott Field. So we're building an athletes village where folks can come and interact with different local businesses, some running specialty stores, things like that. One of the things that we do is when people register, I write an email back to them thanking them for signing up for our race, and if they have any questions. So we're very much a human type of event rather than I'm just sending my money blindly in and I'm going to show up on race morning.
The logistics have to be unbelievable, and you have to think of everything. And when you bring something this exciting into an area, it also brings another element into the area. What do you do to assure everyone's safety?
Yeah, safety is number one. And I was actually in Boston when the bombings happened. Wow. So our particular sport, as well as other major sporting activities, really changed after that day. We work really closely with Canton Police, the Stark County Sheriff, Perry Township Police. We actually have a off-site a command center set up with TV cameras all over our course and the video screens. So we're monitoring what's happening with the canine bomb dogs and SWAT and everything else. So there's a lot happening that runners don't see. But we meet once a month. We'll start the 2017 race planning about 30 days after this race. So it is a year-long planning process to make sure that everyone understands what's going on, what to do, should something tragic happen. We are an open-air event, so there is always that possibility, God forbid, but we have to be prepared to react. So we've been fortunate that we have not had any catastrophic, incidents, but the way that we plan the race is I plan for everything to go south. I plan for it to be sideways snow at 50 miles an hour. I plan, again, if we have medical emergencies, what are the procedures? So there's a whole methodology that happens behind the scenes.
Best to be prepared for that and not have it happen than to not be prepared for it. What is the course? Where will people be running?
You bet. So we start and finish at Don Scott Field up near McKinley High School. The half marathon, we have 3 things that are happening on Sunday. A full marathon, 26.2 miles, a half marathon, 13, and a 5-person team relay. They all start together at 7 a.m. on Sunday morning. They will all run through downtown Canton, through the park past McKinley Monument, and return back to Don Scott Field. At that point, the half marathoners will finish on the track, while the remaining marathoners and team relayers will continue out towards Perry High School. And they'll basically run out to the southwest of the city, turn right around, come back on the same streets. It's what we call an out and back. So this way, the slowest runner will see the fastest runner go by on the other side of the street, so everyone gets to see everyone. And then they all finish at Don Scott Field.
Yeah, so exciting. All right, as folks maybe are getting ready, or I'm thinking new runners, if they're children and they're going to be participating in this brand new, for the first time, children's run, and the kids' fun, how many K?
So I'll very quickly explain the concept. This is year 1. So it's a 1.2 mile run, walk, kids' fun run. Again, in the spirit of planting seeds, next year what we want to do is require kids to do 25 hours of quote-unquote training, which means they take out the trash, they shovel the driveway, they go for a hike. So if they do 25 hours of training plus the 1.2 run walk, that's 26.2, which would be a marathon. So this year...
That's crazy.
Yeah. So again, we want the kids to cross that finish line feeling invested, not that, boy, my mom and dad made me do this. So that's year 1. We're developing that program.
That's amazing. Well, and that kind of goes along with my next question. What tips do you have to prepare for something like this? Is there a special kind of diet a person should be on? Is there a way to build so that when marathon day comes, you're ready for those 26?
Yeah, the answer is yes, and yes. But the true answer is everyone is a little bit different. So what I always recommend is find a local running group. Find a neighbor or a family friend that jogs, that walks, that runs. Talk to your local running specialty store. It's a big running community, and you wouldn't know it if you weren't looking for it, but they are there. And that's really the best way to get started.
All right. Well, we certainly appreciate you being here today. It's very exciting. Jim Chaney from the Professional Football Hall of Fame Marathon and Kevin Miller from Habitat for Humanity. Excited to see how this collaboration grows because you're right. This is a perfect marriage. Very cool. And if you want to be registering, go to HOFmarathon.com. That's HOFmarathon.com. And is there a deadline for registration?
So if you're going to register online, I would try to register by April 20th. That's a Wednesday. You can register in person at our Athletes Village on Friday or Saturday. Would love runners. Again, our tagline, run, cheer, volunteer. There's something for everyone.
Awesome. Thanks so much for being with us today on our community.